Today I would like to talk about the first Jewish exile, which was Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means Egypt. Now the word Mitzrayim comes from the word tsar, and tsar means narrow. And to be in exile means to be in distress, suffering, limitation, a lack of possibilities. That's what it means to be in exile. Now it says in the verse that Yosef was in Mitzrayim. So Rashi asked, of course Yosef was in Mitzrayim. We know that from the Parshiot before. So what is the verse coming to teach us? Rather, Rashi says that the verse is coming to teach us that Yosef was righteous in Mitzrayim. He didn't sin. Even though he was under tremendous suffering and stress and a society filled with who knows what, all kinds of desires, he didn't sin. Now beyond this, we have to also say that since Yosef was righteous, it means he kept all of his good character traits. Not only didn't he sin, but he also had perfect character. Now how is it possible to keep good character in such difficult situations? For example, we now know there's been tremendous suffering in the world. The economy is horrible. People are starving. There's all kinds of horrible things happening in the world. But how does a person keep his righteousness under such stressful situations? For example, if a person lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last economic downfall, how does he stay righteous? How does he not get depressed? How does a person not react to violent situations? How does a person not turn to drugs or just live an empty life of consumerism or watch TV all day or try to bury himself or hide himself from all the stresses of modern day life? How do we keep going in the proper path of growth and kindness and mercy and all the good qualities that the Torah tells us to have? How can we continue when we're under such stress? Now, some stressful situations can be changed, but some cannot. For example, your parents are your parents, and your brothers and sisters are your brothers and sisters, and your wife is your wife, and your husband is your husband. These things you're not going to change. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with them in a new way. And even your financial situation, how much can you change it? I mean, we're all limited. So how do we deal with these limitations and still act with good character? So the Torah answer to this question is faith, Amunah. We have to believe. Now what does it mean to believe according to the Torah? There are three parts. The first part is Akol Bidei Shemayim. Everything that is happening to us comes directly from God. All of these limitations, all of our blessings and all of our curses and all of our situation is coming directly from God. That's step number one. Step number two, Akol L'Tova. Everything is for good. The Simcha Zitzu explains you can't have something bad come out of something good. So whatever God gives us, it's for our good. And the third factor is Hashgacha Pratis. Everything is particularly for us. In general, everything comes from God, but everything is very specific, particularly for us. Which means it's exact. So all of the suffering and every situation that we're in is particularly for us. So that means the brothers and sisters we have, the family members we have, the parents we have, the financial situation we have, and all the suffering that we have is specific to us. How does that help us? Maybe it will make you feel more stressful. But it's just the opposite. There's a verse in Tehillim that says that God tests the righteous. And all these situations are tests for us. We have to know how to handle them. So it says by Yosef that since he was strong, so he was tested. And they bring examples like if you know the one who has flax and he knows that the flax is strong, so he beats it. And beating it makes it soft, but since it's strong, he's not worried to beat it. Or pottery. If someone's trying to sell pottery, he will smack the pots that are strong to show how strong his pottery is. So the same thing God does to us. Every test that we have, we can handle. This is a situation we have to know God does not give us a test that we can't handle. So it must be we can handle it. But you ask yourself, I can't handle it. I have problems with my wife, I have problems with my kids and my parents, my financial situation, health situations, death in the family, who knows what in the world, all this suffering. How do people handle it? People are saying they can't handle it. But we have to handle it. So faith is the answer. Now how does faith help us? Very nice. I know everything comes directly from God. I know everything that happens is good. And I know everything is directly from me. Well, it must be that this situation has been set up for me to act in a different way. Instead of trying to fight the situation and curse the situation, let me see what I can do differently in order to change the situation. In other words, God has given us limitations and parameters by which we can now exercise new parts of our personality. Parts of us that are weak can now come to the foreground and become strengthened. For example, patience. Instead of getting upset if your wife or your husband is doing something, your children, start to exercise your patience. Start to exercise the higher qualities within yourself, the righteous qualities. And this is the way that we can grow. You'll start to exercise patience with your kids. You can have mercy on your family, and you can give love to your coworkers. Realize that these situations are directly from God, and these limitations are there in order to bring out the best in us. And this is the way that we can stay righteous, but not only stay righteous, but actually grow in righteousness and exercise new parts of our personality, deeper parts, purer parts. And this is the way that God helps us to grow, by giving us these limitations. Don't shoot the messenger. God is sending that person in that situation for you to reevaluate. So we should be acting, not reacting. Not just reacting with suffering and complaining. We should be acting. We should be exercising deeper parts of ourselves with new strategies and new ways of looking at the situation in order to grow. And that's what faith will give us. Because if we believe the situation is A, comes directly from God, and B, it's only for our good, and C, it's specifically for us, so therefore we are now going to act in new ways, new and better ways, and we will grow to even greater heights.